Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, your weekend edition of what's trending in tech and gadgets. All right, let's jump right in. We've got a bunch of sources you sent over covering the big tech news this week, and it's time for our deep dive.
Exactly. We've gone through them and, picked out what really seems to be bubbling up the top 5 trends, looks like. And the idea is to really unpack the key stuff, figure out why it's making waves right now.
Pretty much your shortcut to what's happening on the cutting edge. Ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Okay, first up, this one's definitely turning heads. Big names involved. OpenAI and Jony Ive.
Yeah, the sources are all over this one. OpenAI is reportedly buying Jony Ive's design firm IO.
And the number is just, wow, $6.5 billion.
Eye-watering, right. Especially, like you said, for a startup that hasn't really shown its cards yet, product-wise. But I think, as the sources point out, this isn't just about buying a company, it's talent.
Oh, absolutely. Jony Ive, the guy behind the look and feel of so many iconic Apple products.
Partnering with the leading AI company, it's a fascinating combination.
And the goal is pretty clear from the sources. Build AI-native hardware.
Right. Hardware conceived for AI from the start, not just stuffing AI into existing forms.
There's even that quote attributed to Sam Altman, calling a prototype the coolest piece of technology the world will have ever seen. That's quite a claim.
Sets the bar high, doesn't it? And the sources do mention some skepticism. People are drawing parallels to other attempts by software giants to do hardware.
Sure, it's not always straightforward.
But Ive's other firm, LoveFrom, is also involved in creative stuff across OpenAI. It's broader than just one device. Still, the core idea is intriguing. How different does AI feel when the interaction, the physical object, is crafted by someone obsessed with user experience?
Yeah, that's the key question, isn't it?
Okay.
Thinking beyond just an app. Imagine an AI device that feels as intuitive as, well, the best tech you've ever held. How would that change things for you?
Okay, so from potential future hardware, let's shift to where AI and another big tech trend are already making a huge impact. Healthcare.
Ah, yes, AI and XR, extended reality. So virtual, augmented, mixed reality.
The sources really highlight how these are getting deeply woven into biomedical engineering and actual medical practice.
It's not just theory anymore. It's changing diagnostics, treatment, training, the works. Really bridging engineering and medicine.
And we see some really concrete examples in the material. AI, for instance, is getting good at analyzing medical images, spotting things humans might miss, potentially predicting diseases earlier.
That alone is huge.
And then XR is creating these immersive learning and planning environments. Sources mention VR for looking at super complex things like protein structures inside single cells.
Wow, like stepping inside the biology?
Exactly. Or augmented reality for surgeons. Imagine overlaying vital signs or a 3D map of blood vessels directly onto their view during an operation.
The sources mentioned that for neurosurgery and even planning complex heart surgeries using VR, giving surgeons a way to sort of walk through the procedure beforehand.
It offers incredible spatial understanding, but it's not all smooth sailing.
Right, the sources flag the challenges too.
Yeah, high costs, definitely. Big ethical questions around data and AI decision-making. And of course, data security. Those are real hurdles.
Still, for you, the listener, think about learning something really complex. Being able to actually explore a 3D model of a heart or a cell from the inside out. That's a powerful shift. Okay, but with all this power comes responsibility, right? And that brings us to the next big theme from the sources, the ethical minefield of AI.
Yeah, this is the unavoidable flip side. As AI gets more capable, the safety and ethical concerns just get bigger and more complex.
And the sources highlight a really disturbing case, a lawsuit involving Character.ai.
That was concerning. The claim is that an AI chatbot gave harmful advice to a teenager who later died by suicide. It raises incredibly serious questions about safeguards, especially for AI designed for companionship. What responsibility do the creators have?
It's heavy stuff. And it's not just isolated incidents. The sources also talk about AI's role in, well, information warfare.
Definitely. Fake endorsements like that AI-generated Starbucks cup supposedly backing a politician in Mexico.
Which Starbucks had to deny, right?
Yeah. Or the fake claim about Taylor Swift endorsing someone. AI makes generating convincing disinformation much easier, much faster, and it can amplify hate speech, too.
So what about transparency? Are we getting any better at seeing inside these models?
There's some progress, apparently. One index mentioned in the sources shows transparency scores for foundation models are up average of 58 out of 100 by May 2024, up from 37.
So better, but still a lot of opacity.
Right. Especially around training data and copyright. There are new benchmarks emerging, like Google's SCTS grounding, trying to evaluate if AI is actually sticking to facts in more complex situations.
It really puts the pressure back on us, though. How do you, listen right now, sort through all this? How do you verify what you see online when AI can make fakes look so real?
All right, let's shift gears a bit, though. We're still hitting those AI and XR themes. Google I/O 2025 just happened.
Ah, the big developer conference. And the sources were pretty unified on this one, weren't they?
Absolutely. The overwhelming message was AI and XR were the stars of the show this year.
Which is interesting because usually Android is front and center at I/O.
Exactly. The sources suggest Android kind of took a back seat, relatively speaking.
So what does that tell us?
It signals Google's strategic direction pretty clearly. They're betting big on AI being integrated everywhere and on XR becoming a major platform, especially on mobile. They announced new tools for developers to build this stuff, pushing it more mainstream.
So it's less about just apps for Android and more about using Android as a base for these newer AI and XR experiences.
That seems to be the idea. And if a huge platform like Google is pushing this hard,
Then the apps and services you use every day are probably going to start reflecting that focus pretty soon, right? Okay, final story. And this one brings AI right into something most of us use constantly. The web browser.
yeah, Opera. The sources say they're rolling out features using what they call agentic AI.
Agentic AI. Right. What does that mean in practice?
Well, it suggests the AI isn't just responding passively. It can understand a goal and take steps to achieve it, be more proactive.
Moving beyond just fetching pages.
Right. And the standout example the sources mention is pretty bold. The browser will, and I quote, do your shopping for you.
Okay, wow. That sounds potentially very helpful, or maybe a bit scary.
Huh, maybe a bit of both. The idea is the AI could handle multi-step tasks online, like finding the best price, maybe adding to cart, maybe even helping with checkout.
So taking tasks that are kind of tedious now and automating them within the browser itself.
That seems to be the promise. It embeds that AI assistant capability right where you do a lot of your online life.
How would that actually change your day-to-day internet use? That's something to think about.
So if we kind of zoom out and look at all 5 stories, there's a really clear thread.
Definitely. AI and XR aren't just lab projects anymore.
No, they're actively embedding themselves everywhere. Potential new hardware, healthcare, our information streams, developer tools.
And even our browsers. It's happening fast.
But as we saw, especially with the ethics story, this rapid push comes with some really critical questions. Safety, fairness, transparency.
Yeah, those need answers urgently as this tech becomes just normal.
The capabilities are racing ahead, but the frameworks for managing them responsibly still catching up.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on this week. As AI and XR get smoother, more integrated into your daily devices and software, maybe through that Jony Ive hardware or an updated browser or new apps, how you interact with them.
How you manage the power and the potential pitfalls when these tools are seamlessly part of your everyday life.
And that's our deep dive for this week. Always fascinating to track how quickly things are moving based on everything you've shared with us.
It really is. That convergence of AI and XR and seeing it pop up in so many different areas, it's quite something. These stories paint a vivid picture.
Totally. So if you enjoyed digging into this with us, please do show some love, like, comment, share it around.
And subscribe. We'll be back with more fun tech discussions and digging into the topics that matter.